Hello everyone and welcome to iOpenTCGs, the channel where I don't really make videos anymore. But today I have a new type of video, which is a low quality PowerPoint because I don't show my face. So today we're going to talk about Carbonite boxes and should you be hyped. Now if you don't know, in the next set 4 for Star Wars Unlimited, they are going to produce these Carbonite boxes, which are effectively collector boxes from Magic the Gathering. All right. Now, the TLDR here is that, yes, you should be hyped, but also maybe not. I'm a great YouTuber. All right. Now, the main draw of these Carbonite packs are these prestige cards. So these are alt art versions of a bunch of cards from the normal set, right? Now, there are no unique cards in Carbonite boxes, just unique treatments, right? Like alt arts, things like that. Now, for this set particularly, and they did say that this will change in future sets, there will be 36 different prestige cards. Now, keep in mind, the prestige cards is where the majority of the value of buying a Carbonite box is going to come from, because it's the only unique thing in the Carbonite boxes. Now, there is some other cool stuff happening, which I'll talk about in a second, but there will be 36 different prestige cards, and the big draw is that each one of those will be serialized out of 250. All right. Now, that means since there's 36 different cards and there's out of 250, we know that no matter what, there's going to be 9,000 serialized cards in this set, right? We don't know how many boxes they will produce, but we do know that in the end, there's going to be 9,000 serialized cards. And although this video is kind of late, I wanted to make this a couple weeks ago, I don't think that people realize just how many serialized cards that is, especially for a game so new like Star Wars Unlimited. Now, one of the big things that will help today is to estimate the number of total boxes, right? As I said, we don't know the exact pull rate, but we can make, I believe, an educated guess. So for example, if you pull a serialized card, 1 out of every 2 boxes, that means there's going to be 18,000 boxes total, right? Because there's 9,000 serialized cards. If you pull 1 in every 2 boxes, that's 9,000 times 2, 18,000 boxes, right? Now, if you can pull 1 out of every case, which is every 4 boxes of Carbonite boxes, right? That is 36,000 total Carbonite boxes. Again, 9,000 times 4. And then maybe on the higher end, maybe you pull a serialized card 1 out of every 2 cases, or 1 out of every 8 boxes. That's 72,000 boxes. Hopefully you're following along. That's 8 times 9, 72,000 boxes. All right. Now, I believe that 1 serialized card per case makes a lot of sense. But it could easily be 1 out of every 2 cases, because you do want the serialized card to be hard to get. Right? That's kind of the point, is you want it to be hard to get. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I will choose what I consider the absolute best case scenario, which is 1 out of every case, 1 out of every 4 boxes. All right. I think they probably should be rarer, but that's going to cause additional problems, which we'll talk about in the very next slide. So I'm going to go with 36,000 boxes. Again, that is the estimation that you will pull 1 serialized card out of every case. All right. Now, what that means is that's 36,000 boxes. We already talked about that, right? 4 times 9,000. Man, PowerPoints. All right. Now, one of the big things that they announced with Carbonites is that the showcase chance has been increased for the Carbonite boxes. Now, in the presentation, they said 1 out of every 2 or 3 boxes. So just for calculation, we're going to go in the middle here, and we're going to go 2.5 boxes. All right. So that means, again, 36,000 Carbonite boxes, which I think is a very low estimate, but that's the one we're going to go with for this example. If there's a showcase every 2.5 boxes, that's an additional 14,000 showcases directly coming from Carbonite boxes. All right. And we'll talk about what that means in a second. So that means if there are 18 leaders like there was in set 2 and set 3, again, that could change, but I think it's safe to assume to go with that. That is around 800 new showcases per leader for this that are coming directly from Carbonites, right? This is not from the regular booster boxes. This is additional supply from the Carbonite boxes. In addition to that, there's one prestige card per pack. And one thing I didn't mention in this video, but hopefully you already know, there are actually 3 different levels of prestige cards. There's a tier 1 prestige level, which is just the alt art. There's a level 2 prestige, which is a foiled alt art. And then there is the highest level prestige, which again is the serialized versions, right? But generally, there's 1 prestige card per pack. And if there are 36,000 boxes, it's 12 packs per box. And so you end up with 432,000 prestige cards. Okay, I'm going to talk about what all this means to me in a second, but that's where I got all these numbers. All right, so you can see here from the Excel sheet, there are different possibilities, right? Could be 72,000 boxes, could be as little as 9,000 boxes. We don't know. I went with the middle, and this is kind of where all the information comes from. Now, a couple of important things here is that they did talk about the general makeup of how many tier 1s there are compared to tier 2s. It's like 2/3 chance to get a tier 1 and a 1/3 chance to get a tier 2, and then a very, 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 very small chance, of course, for the serialized cards. But hopefully you can see from here that, I'm going to show my mouse for a second here, that there's a lot of cards, right? 432,000 prestige cards, 9,000 of them will be serialized, 282,000 of them will be tier 1s, 141,000 will be tier 2s, all right? That is what's going on. So what are the big takeaways for me? One of the big takeaways that I don't see too many people talking about is that adding in 14, wait, did I change this number? Okay, no, it's 14. I wrote 14,000 showcases and this one's 14,400, but 14,000 showcases added. That is the equivalent of 172,800 regular booster boxes worth of showcases. That is an immense number of booster boxes. Again, we don't know the exact number of booster boxes they are printing for this game. It's probably a lot. I don't know what it's going to be, but I would guess somewhere between 200 to 300,000 boxes worldwide, which is a lot. For example, like Flesh and Blood, which is, arguably the 5th biggest game or 6th biggest game going on right now. Usually they print nowadays around $200,000 boxes in total, right? Now, again, this is the number of showcases added just from Carbonites, all right? So unless they reduce the number of regular booster boxes by 170,000, these are all added showcases to the market. What does that mean? That means there's going to be more of them out there, and unless there's more players, all right, the goal, of course, is in any game to grow the number of players. But unless the growth matches the number of showcases added, all the showcases are probably going to drop in value because there are so many more. Why is that a bad thing? Because Carbonites have a knock-on effect. They are not pure added value to a game, right? Because they are going to make regular booster boxes worth less unless there's a significant decrease in the number of regular booster boxes that they make. All right. This is just to show you that's a lot of showcases that are going to be added, which will make them worth less. All right. The second big takeaway is that it's a lot of prestige cards. A lot of prestige cards. A lot of people that I've been seeing are like, prestige cards are going to be worth some. They are not. They are not. Now, some of them will be. The top playable ones, the legendaries probably, might be worth something. But here's what you have to understand, okay? Let's take one prestige card. Doesn't matter what rarity is, but let's say it's an uncommon, right? That got prestiged. That means there are 7 versions of that exact same card in the set, right? There's a regular card, the regular foil, regular hyperspace foil, prestige tier 1, prestige tier 2, and the serialized prestige, okay? What prestige cards do is that not only do they chunk down the value of the regular cards, all right, but if they are not playable cards, it's going to be even worse, right? They have to be top tier playable cards because there are just so many of those cards out there, okay? Now, I know what a lot of what I would consider I'm not going to use that word, but I think there are some people that are very positive and they think, oh, well, that's okay because we're going to get a huge increase in players. Maybe that's true. You're going to need a lot of new players to absorb a lot of these cards, okay? The other takeaway, and this is also a big one, is that serialized cards does not instantly mean value, okay? Now, I know just from looking at the way Asmodee is doing things, is that their executives 100% are like, you see Magic? Look at Magic. You see what Magic is doing? Let's do what Magic is doing. It's work for Magic? Let's do the Magic. Magic, Magic, Magic. Even though this game is not Magic, doesn't have the history of Magic, doesn't have the demand as Magic, and is not released at the same time Magic was released when it originally came out. It's a whole different landscape nowadays. But you have to understand the 9,000 serialized cards is a lot, okay? Oftentimes the Magic sets, when they release a set with serialized cards, a lot of times they only have 3 or 4 cards that are serialized. Some out of 250, some out of 500. It does go up or down depending on the set. And I'm not a Magic expert. This is just from some basic Googling, so I could be wrong here. But oftentimes Magic sets only have 2,000 serialized cards total. And Magic has an order of magnitude more demand than Star Wars. The demand for Magic is way, 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 way bigger. I don't think that's arguable. That's just a fact, okay? So the fact that there's 9,000 serialized cards is actually a lot. A lot, okay? Now, you know what's going to feel really bad? Is when you open a Carbonite box, you get a serialized card. Oh my gosh, I paid $300 for this box, or maybe I opened a case to really confirm one, and that serialized card is worth $50. That could easily happen with this many serialized cards if the serialized card that you get is for a card that's not highly desirable and not highly played, okay? Now, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but this is going to bring all of those like Topps Chrome people in, right? Maybe. But even for Topps Chrome people, 9,000 serialized cards is a lot. And there's no autographs, there's no patch, memorabilia, okay? These are just alt arts of cards. There's a lot of assumptions there, okay? I'm just trying to say it's a lot, all right? So these are my 3 biggest takeaways. My worries about Carbonite boxes is that there's going to be a lot of, and again, all these numbers is only if it's 36,000 boxes. There could easily be more. There could easily be 1 out of every 8 boxes and have 72,000 boxes. And that's even more supply out there, right? The big question is can Asmodee forecast demand? And again, I constantly see people saying like, well, they'll learn. Easy. They'll learn. All I can go on is what they've done so far, okay? Which is set 1 did not meet demand, which is fine. That happens. It's set 1. Set 2 didn't meet demand in the beginning, way too much demand halfway through. Again, second set, maybe, okay? Give them the benefit of the doubt. Third set, way too much supply. Okay? That one they should have had plenty of time to figure that out. But whether it's their fault or not their fault, that's not what I'm trying to point out. What I'm trying to point out, there were supply problems for all 3 sets, both too little supply and too much supply. This is the 4th set. I'm only going by historic knowledge. It's probably going to be lopsided as well. Okay? Now, for collectors, it's better to have too little supply than too many supply, which is why I'm very worried that if it is 72,000 boxes, that is an immense oversupply. Also, you have to keep in mind that the experience a lot of people had with set 2 and set 3 really did put them off the game. I know maybe you are in a city where Star Wars is still pumping, still doing very well. I hear stories all the time of brand new players coming in, stores running events. It's great. But I also hear an equal number of people saying their local scene is dried up. It used to be 10 stores, now it's 2 stores. My weeklies used to be 30, now it's 15, now it's 8, now it's 4. There are equal number of stories that I've seen. Honestly, there's probably more drying up than increasing, but I'll just say it's even. All right. And again, a lot of people are saying, oh, Carbonites are going to bring in this, bring in that. I hope so. I hope so. Now, there are two major questions that I was kind of waiting for them to answer before I made this video. They did not answer it. One of the most important ones is, will all prestige cards have the exact same pull rate? So what that means is, obviously for serialized cards, every card is even, right? Every card gets 250. It's even. But for the tier 1 and tier 2 cards, for example, the legendary prestige cards, right? When the base card is a legendary, are they are they just as easy to get as a common or uncommon level prestige card, right? For the base rarity. Because it's a very, very, very different market if you are adding in 10,000 copies of a legendary, right? Between the tier 1 and the tier 2s. Or if it's much lower because it's a legendary card, and so therefore it's printed less than a common card, like in a normal box, right? This is, if it's even, like the serialized cards, adding in 10,000 copies of a legendary is ginormous. Legendaries are already pretty crunched, especially the bad ones. There are so many legendaries in Star Wars that are worth $1, $2, $3 because they're bad and nobody likes them and they're terrible. Yes, Asmodee can make better legendaries in the future, but historically, they did not with set 2 and set 3, right? So adding in 10,000 additional copies, remember, a legendary prestige cards will have 7 different versions, right? It's all about chunking. It just makes it so that there really, really is no point for a store or maybe even a player that is conscious of EV to buy a regular booster box because all of the value has been chunked, right? The other big question, which I've said repeatedly here, is how much did they adjust the regular booster box supply, right? Because they're adding in all these Carbonite boxes, they're adding in extra showcases, hypers, legendaries, all these prestige cards. They're adding in so many of the good cards, quote unquote. How much did they reduce the regular booster box supply? The hope is that they reduced it by quite a lot. But again, historically, we don't know. We will see in a couple weeks, or month and change from releasing this video, right? But you just have to understand that Carbonites, maybe I'll say this here. So in the end, if you made it this far into this ranty ass video, because I really, really wanted to make this rant, is that everything that I just said does matter. It matters a lot. But the thing that matters the most, even for Magic the Gathering collector booster boxes, is the set good? Okay? Is the set good? If the set is not good, the Carbonite boxes will also not be good, right? If the set is very good, Carbonite boxes will be very good. Carbonites are kind of like, they exaggerate what the normal set is kind of like, right? So if it's another weak set like set 2, I don't know. Now, the day I'm making this video right now, we just heard about rotation. All right. So my guess is that they're going to make the first set of the year the strong set because it's the set that's going to be around the longest. And I'm going to make another video if this does okay. I will make another video, my thoughts on rotation. But spoiler alerts, me no likey. But my assumption is that maybe this set is going to be great. But there's a knock-on effect for... I really didn't want to talk about it in this video, but Carbonite's boxes are mainly supposed to be for collectors, right? And with rotation kind of hurts collectors, right? If you do a non-rotation game, it's a little bit better for collectors. Again, there's pros and cons to every version of type of thing you're going to do. But if you know that the last set of the year is only around for 15 months, obviously the collectors of those sets are also probably going to be like, maybe not, maybe not. So there's a weird knock-on effect of rotation. Again, if you're interested, I'm going to post another video about that. All right. So long story long, I do want people to be hyped. I do want people to be wary. Okay. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of regular people don't know how cheap the booster boxes for set 2 and set 3 are right now. Okay. Right now, the prices that they are, most stores will make negative money. Okay, I know there's some arguing I've seen on Reddit of how much an actual booster box costs for a store. I know what a lot of stores actually pay, and it's abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal how it is currently. Carbonites, in theory, are supposed to help also stores, because stores also need to make money. Stores are part of this equation. Again, it's not just players, it's not just collectors. Stores are an important part about this equation. But if Carbonites don't stick to MSRP and they dip down and dip down and dip down, and suddenly it's stores are not making much money on it, that is an absolute death knell for the game in stores. Okay. I honestly, I really lost my train of thought with the with the PowerPoint here. But just keep in mind, I think it's fine to buy some Carbonites for MSRP. I wouldn't go crazy. I thought maybe there'd be a little bit more FOMO run at the time of making this PowerPoint, but it seems like right now a lot of stores are sold out, but there are not that many stores selling it for more than $300, which is MSRP. Now, TCG player, there's some weird overpaying for there, and I feel bad for those new players. But generally, I would try to find, if you want to buy a box, you know, $270, $280, $300 is okay, but please, please, please don't overpay. Do not fall in the FOMO. There are a lot of potential negatives. That's the whole point of this video. It is not all cherries, sunshine, rainbows. There is some good stuff in it. I like prestige cards. I like alt arts. I think they could have done a lot of things better with it. They could have made way less serialized cards. They should not have increased showcase rates just that much. There's a lot of chaff in the collector boxes, but it's the same with Magic. Like the regular foils, don't really care too much about that. And I wish they told us a little bit more about how the hit rates of the prestige cards. But if they do announce that, there will be a follow-up video. Yeah, that is it for this video. Let me know if you liked it. Again, since I don't show my face, this video would have been just my hands, fat fingers and stuff. I try to make it a PowerPoint so you can follow along. Again, if this does decently well and I don't get completely pooped on, my thoughts on rotation will be next. But please be safe. And I'm excited about Carbonites. Again, from a collector, I am a collector, but I'm also a seller. I do sell. So please take that into account. I'm not going to plug anything related to that here. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.